Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. This is your boy Town Biz. All right. Appreciate you guys tapping in. So I'm going to give you a recap. Just got through watching the PBC card. The main event started at 5 and it's almost 10 o'clock if it isn't 10 o'clock. But Tim Tszyu is successful over Joey Spencer with a fourth round stoppage. The fight started off very slow, typical chess match, each guy trying to see what the other guy was doing. And, for the most part, nothing really happened the first two rounds, but then in the third round, Tim Tszyu just started to pour it on, landing hard shots, going upstairs, going downstairs, and he started to let his hands go. Every once in a while, Joey Spencer would throw a punch, but it just seemed he was just gunshot, and he started to feel Tim Tszyu's power early because he started to swell up after the third round, and then basically, uh, to make a long story short, uh, Zoo got it going in the fourth round. He landed over 40 punches in the fourth round alone. His father thought he was defenseless, and his father threw in the towel. So now Tim Zoo moves on. He's bounced back from, back to back losses. He couldn't afford to have a third loss, or that would be it for him. Well, I'm not going to say it for him, but he would fall down. He would fall very far down the super welterweight charts. That's new terminology. I like that charts, but nevertheless, um, I feel bad because for those who don't know, when I first started to uh, become a boxing reporter, I was there for Joey Spencer when he first started. I remember when he was training in Hayward at Virgil Hunter's gym, and I think Joey Spencer is a very nice man, very nice young man. Got to know him, got to know his father. Joey Spencer is a good dude, and you feel bad. You feel bad because you hate to see something like that happens, but at the end of the day, um, Tim Zoo was just too much for him. You know, just go to show you, just because you have back-to-back outings, don't mean you can, you know, that you have to call it a career, or say somebody's done. And I think Spencer can recover. I just think he just got a little gun shy, and that's all that happened. Where Zoo was just letting his hands go, and he started to tee off. Like I said, he landed like 40 punches in the fourth round. And I'm sorry, when somebody lands that amount of punches in a round, yeah, you are in deep trouble. And your corner should consider throwing in the towel. Now, there's no, there's no landed punch maximum or something. But man, if you get hit like that, your corner has to look out for you. And like I said before, his father turned in to turn, his father had saw enough, and he was just like, you know. But besides that, we'll see what's next for Zoo. Maybe possibly a rematch with Fondora, and maybe a rematch with the guy that knocked him out. You know, we'll just have to see. We will definitely have to see. But like I said before, um, man, and it's like maybe, yeah, it's like 5 o'clock out there or something. Man, it took forever for that. It took forever for the main event to start. But it was a good fight though. It was a good fight. You know, I just think Tim Zoo needed a opponent like Joey Spencer. Look, Joey Spencer is a good kid, but he's what you call a decent fighter, but unfortunately, he's not an elite fighter. Tim Zoo, where he is, I think Tim Zoo is good, and I think he can rebound, and I think can become a major force at 154. I think Jamel Charlo is still out there. There's some fights out there for him. Do I think he could do anything with somebody like Terrence Crawford? Uh, I don't know. I would like to see him. I would like to see Tim Zoo, even though they were scheduled to fight and it didn't happen. I'd like to see Zoo somewhere down the line fight somebody like Ortiz. I think that would be a hell of a fight. Hey, dude, you on my platform. What do you mean? Who is you? All right. Anybody else want to play these type of games? Cool. Boom. Next. Now, who else want to say something smart so I can? You don't. Yeah, it was on Amazon Prime. You can watch it now because Amazon Prime, after about 15 minutes, they reset it for, basically where you could start watching it from the beginning. So probably in about 15 minutes, maybe sooner than that, you could watch the fight from the beginning. You could watch the card from the beginning. It was, I think it started at 7 o'clock. Seemed like it took forever for the main event to happen. But I expected, I expected Tszyu to win the fight. Well, it's on. If you got Amazon Prime, you'll be able to watch the fight in its entirety. You can run it back. One thing about Amazon Prime, you could just run it back. You might could run it back right now. Just go to PBC. Just go to your search engine. Go to PBC. Uh, Tszyu versus Spencer. It should pop right back up, and they probably already have it ready on rewatch, and then if it isn't in certain places, it'll be ready in around like 15 minutes. But I'll watch the card in its entirety. But like I said before, I feel bad for Joey Spencer because, like I said, um, I started covering him, like I said, when he was an amateur before he turned pro. So they used to train him, and his father used to train at Virgil Hunter's gym in Hayward. So, I met him, I met his father, I think I met his mother before too. And like I said, he always was a respectful young man, had a good demeanor about him, you know. But, when you just watch him where he is as a pro, he's a decent fighter, but he's not what you would call a good fighter or an elite fighter. Because, like they say, there's levels to everything, and he's just not there as what you would call an elite fighter or a contender. And keep in mind, this was a 10-round fight. This was a 10-round fight. So, when you fight 10-round fights, you don't have a lot of time. There's less room for error. You got to get going. Really in a 10-round fight, you need to start getting it going by like the fourth round. And that's cutting it kind of thin. This is not a 12-round fight where you at least got to the fifth round to like try to get it going and make something happen. Pretty much if you don't have nothing going by the fourth round in a 10-round fight, you might be out of it. But like I said, it was like I said, I was, I'm going to keep it 100. I am not that big on Tszyu. Yeah, he could crack. He could crack. But I'm just not big on him. I just think he's very beatable. I think a lot of different styles can beat Tszyu. But he was more offensively responsible this fight than he has been in his last couple of fights. I think with the Fondora fight, I think due to the fact that he got cut very bad in the fight, I think that was the difference maker. And Fondora seems to be very funny style about fights who he wants to fight. So we'll just have to see. But no, Joey Spencer. My God, these people. These people are funny. You know damn well Earl Spence didn't have a fight today. Spence Spence won't be fighting anytime soon. I can tell you that much. You won't be seeing Spence anytime soon. Um, it's some stuff going on behind the scenes that I've been told, but I'm not gonna put that out there. I'm gonna just leave it as I've been told some things, and that's just basically it. Well, it's supposed to say Spencer. If it say Spence, then that mean it was the tube that did it because I put in Spencer, but it could be changed. But y'all, obviously, you guys are not boxing fans, so you would know that Spence didn't have a fight. But anyway, I'll fix it later. I'm doing the stream. Hold on, let me turn this down. Y'all know when they be playing background music, sometimes when you be watching TV, it messes up the monetization. But no, Spence did not fight. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it absolutely right. That's basically what it was. He was a confidence builder. That's what I mean. He put a decent fighter in there with him. I'm gonna tell you something. Had Tszyu lost that fight, man, one thing about listen, you can't afford to lose three in a row. You could bounce back. You could bounce back from, maybe two losses straight, but a third, man, you headed towards possibly what you would call, and I hate to use that terminology, you know, I'll say, I don't like to use that word gatekeeper, but you, you start to get that title as basically, a step up fight. And I think to a certain degree, you don't want to earn that title a step up fight. But, Zoo did what he needed to do. Joey Spencer, um, Joey Spencer just couldn't pull the trigger. He sat up there, he would smile and he wouldn't return fire. And he wouldn't get off first. He was just too timid. One thing about boxing, sometimes the problem that Tank has sometimes if I Tank sits around sometimes and waits too long to see what the other guy is gonna do. That's the difference between him and Floyd Mayweather. When Floyd Mayweather was fighting, say what you want to say about Floyd Mayweather. I'm talking about Floyd Mayweather, the fighter, not Floyd Mayweather, the person. Floyd Mayweather initiate offense. Floyd knew how to mix it up. That was one of the most difficult things about fighting Floyd Mayweather. It was difficult to figure out what he was going to do. When you think he was going to be on defense, he would, he would convert the offense and then vice versa. So Floyd was very hard to game plan for. That's why, a lot of people when they fight Floyd, they would say he would frustrate them because he was very hard to figure out. Because Floyd, outside of boxing, I mean, he might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but in the ring, yeah, Floyd's ring IQ is uh man. His ring IQ is up there with the best of them. And that's just real talk. But anyway, got to get out of here. About to go to the gym. I will check with y'all later on. It's your boy Town. I'm out.